Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Today I have a video for you about what I want you to know and what you need to understand before you jump into a fertility treatment process that might be like IVF, or it might be something invasive even, where you're getting reproductive endocrinologists involved. This is the stuff that I had no idea about, and I'm just remembering the reason that I wanted to do this video is because I can so clearly remember the exact day that my husband and I went to see the reproductive endocrinologist, at least the first ones that we met with, and we walked into the office and they just had like a file folder about me. And he sort of looked through it and told me a bunch of big words. My specific diagnosis at the beginning anyways was something called hypogonadotropic hypogonadism. Basically, I wasn't getting my period. So that's a problem, right? If you want to have a baby, at least naturally. And he didn't do any tests. I had been just going to my regular OB, and they had tried putting me on like one medicine to induce ovulation, but it didn't do anything. And so he just sort of looked at the papers and kind of told us about how the fertility process worked, which, by the way, you'll remember like nothing about because it's so much information. And even going through it, there were days when Heath and I were like, what's happening? Like, we have a bag of medicine, shots, and hormones, and we're like, I hope we're doing this right. Like, it's a lot. It's really intense. And the whole process is intense, and which is why I wanted to talk to you guys about this, because it's a big decision. And before you make a decision to move forward with something like that, because it's a very life-changing decision, right? These are the things that I didn't know that I really would love to share with you. So I remember that day we were in the office and I was sitting in this chair, it was like a leather chair, and he didn't really ask me much, or my husband just like, do you understand? And he said these words to me that I had to do IVF if I ever wanted to get pregnant. Like, that was my only option. And he said, it might take a few tries, but eventually we should get it to work. And if you guys know me, which you probably don't know me that well yet, because I haven't been all about the YouTube for a while, but my blood was boiling because I was mad because he had just jumped to like all these assumptions, and it's, in all fairness, he was just telling us what he knows. And that's like why you go to a person like that, why you go to doctors like that, is because they're specialized in the medicine side, they're specialized in like the surgery side and all these technology things. But I just wanted to know what was the matter, and obviously that's not his job to be like, well, if you can adjust these certain things, like your body will start to work by itself, which is what I wanted. So I just felt really angry. I felt really unheard. I felt really misunderstood, and like he wasn't trying to understand me or us. And so basically I was pissed and also sad at the same time. So I remember we walked out of the parking lot and we just had like these brochures, and it's kind of like, okay, well, now what do we do? And I just wanted to understand so badly, like, how does this all work? Like, what happened that I ended up here when my sisters didn't have fertility problems? My mom didn't have fertility problems. Like, how did I get here? And what really just drove me through all of this was the desire to understand, and the desire to figure it out, and the desire to know why. And I'm so glad that I understand it now, that I can tell you guys about this. And I honestly, last night, was laying in bed and Dalton was laying next to me, and Dalton is our IVF baby, right? And I was falling asleep, and then this thought just dropped in. It was more like an image, and I saw myself sitting on my couch, which is the same couch that we still have. And it was like, after those appointments, I would come home on my computer and I would just look things up, like trying to figure out how to heal this thing that I didn't even know I had, like that this thing was wrong with me or my hormones. And I just looked and looked and looked, and I wasn't finding any answers. And it just made me so upset because like I was a healthy person. I mean, obviously there was room to improve, which I did from the inside, right? But I didn't know. And so last night I was falling asleep and I got this like image of myself just struggling, like to figure out what to do. And it kind of broke my heart. And so I decided that I was going to start getting on here to tell you guys a lot of things that I didn't know that could save you years of heartache and help you make decisions, because that's really what it's about, is knowing that you do get to have a family, but knowing what path will yours be to take, and then always coming back to how can I help my body? Because if your body isn't getting pregnant easily, then there's things to do. Okay, so that's the first thing. Well, before the first thing is this. I'm not against IVF, and obviously it helped us to have one of our children, to have Dalton. And for a long time, this is like becoming a longer live stream, but whatever. For a long time, anytime that I would bring up the concept of IVF, even like a month ago, it was like I would clench up inside and have anger, and I would be mad and like hurt almost. And I realized that was like holding on to the past and all of the like the pain that I had associated with it. But I realized like that doesn't serve me or you guys. And so now I'm so happy about this, by the way. Anytime that I think about IVF, all I think about is Dalton. And I think about his face and his eyes and his eyelashes, his big eyelashes. And I've decided to connect that to IVF, because I'm not here to say that IVF is wrong or bad, because for some people it's your most perfect path, but there's always things to know and to do to help your body. And so I'm definitely not against it, but if you don't want to do it, and if you haven't entertained any of these concepts yet, then this is stuff that you really, really, really need to know. And I really, really, really need you to understand your body and to do everything that you can to allow your body to do what it is made to do. And so if you want to have a baby and you want things to go well naturally, then these are things that you need to understand first, because your body is so willing to work with you, and it's trying to do everything right now, no matter what's happening in your body, okay? So that's the first thing. Like, whatever you end up doing, that's cool. I just need you to make sure your body is like turned on and everything's working right, okay? Then you have way better results and faster. Okay, so let's talk about like this idea that understanding how our bodies work. Before you do IVF, the first thing I want you to think about is, do you have an awareness of something being off that's linked to your fertility issues? And what I mean by that is, well, have you been told like you have a thyroid condition? Have you been told that you like have hormonal imbalances? Do you not get your period, like my story? What's going on, basically, right? Because if you've been to a doctor or just your regular OB and they've been like, oh, well, you're trying to get pregnant, well, have you looked into anything? So the first thing is, like, you need to understand that fertility happens naturally when the body is functioning as it knows how to, and it can. And when everything's clicking together and the messages flow, then we don't have fertility issues. And so there's things in the way that create like obstacles in that process. And the smartest thing that we can do is to look at those things and be like, before I even pursue getting pregnant, if I know that there's things going on within my body about my health, then I need to address those things first, because otherwise you're just trying to force an end result over a problem, and you might not see it as a problem or feel it as a problem. Like maybe you have an underactive thyroid and you're like, whatever, but not whatever, like heal it. And you can, right? So the first thing is what's happening. If you know that you have some kind of diagnosis related to your fertility issues, what is it? And if you know, put it in the comments and let me know, because there's really, really common ones, right? Like thyroid conditions and fibroids and PCOS and all of these different things, and more that you probably don't even know about, because everything is connected. And so you have to see that, like, if you've been given a diagnosis, then let's work with it. Because even if you do pursue IVF after that, you will be so happy that you've gotten your body stronger and healthy to be able to go through that process if you even need to, right? Okay, so then what if you haven't been to a doctor, but things just aren't working? Maybe you've been trying for a few months or a year or years, or maybe you have a diagnosis like mine that's like, what? What are you talking about? I don't know these words mean, and I can't do anything with that. Like that's like so really in-depth, like pituitary gland, what? Like that's what I was like. So I ended up like Googling these research journals, and I was reading all these things, but like I'm really smart and I love research, but I was not going in the right direction there, you know? So that's part of what I want to help you guys with, is like making this make sense so that you get it, okay? Because like I said, when you have your body functioning well, when things are healed, then fertility is a natural byproduct of a healthy body. So any woman right now that isn't easily getting pregnant, you have to check in with this, because something's going on. And we always look at the physical body first, right? Because we're humans, and the baby has to come through the physical body. And there's these other things we have to address too, like our spiritual and emotional health. But at first we need to know, like, what's going on with my body, you know? And if you don't have your period like me, it's like, whoa, that's what needed to be worked on first, before just being like, oh, let's go shoot up a bunch of hormones and try to force the thing. But the thing was, I didn't know that there was a way for my body to click back into naturally having a period. And I tried acupuncture and that like things like that. I tried acupuncture for a long time. However, it didn't get me there, because there was more going on, like into the depths of my cells. So the first thing I want to tell you is look at what's like off with your health physically. And then I'm here to tell you, like, you can change it. Your body will restore itself. Your body knows how to do all of these things, but we have to be a player in the game and listen to it and be aware and like find out and like come to the table and say, okay, I want to learn. I want to know how to help my body, and I want to make sure that everything's healthy inside, and then see what happens, right? So you don't have to rush this process, because it's really, really important to just take care of yourself first. Okay. And then so what I was saying about, like, if you don't have a diagnosis, if you have like a mystery infertility thing, like, I want you to know, like, it's not a mystery. I'll do a whole video for you on like what mystery infertility is. Okay. But again, it comes back to what's happening inside of the body that is creating a body right now where things aren't happening, where things aren't working, right? And I'm speaking to women. I'm not speaking to men who might have like something happening where they like can't participate in the process or whatever. So the men have to do their part, but I'm speaking to the women who want to know how to help their bodies, okay? Especially before jumping into a process like IVF. or even artificial insemination, or things where you're getting medications and doctors and procedures involved. Okay, so before the first part is, let's work with the body and get it healthy. If you haven't even thought of doing that and you're just like, well, we've been trying for a while and I'm getting older, we better just do it. Don't do it for that reason, okay? This is one of the biggest things that I see with women is they think that they're too old, and they think that it's like a time crunch, but it's always perfect timing. It's always, always, always perfect timing. And I did a podcast yesterday, I think it was yesterday or the day before, but like the timing is perfect for everyone, for the baby that's coming, for you, your partner, anyone that's going to be involved in this family. You need to learn something first. Something needs to change. Something needs to shift. And for many, many women, what needs to change is this awareness of how our bodies work, and this awareness of the critical need for us to be healthy and to heal things that aren't well, and to take care of ourselves even better. And that's what my podcast was about. You can check it out. I'll put the link below, but it was basically this spirit babies were like, we need our parents to know what's happening and be able to be healthy and to take care of us and to lead the next generation forward into a different kind of paradigm with health. So if you've never worked on like cleansing, if you've never worked on healing your liver, if you've never worked on detox or supporting your adrenal glands or healing your thyroid, you have to do that first. You have to do that first, because IVF is tough. It's a hard process because you're basically manipulating your endocrine system with drugs. And so here's the option. Do everything that you can to allow your endocrine system and all the parts of your body to turn on naturally and to work the way that they were built and know how to do, or do it with medicine, or do everything that you can and then decide what is the next step, okay? Because like I said, you might still choose to do that process. I don't know what your path will look like, but you have to know, like, your number one job is to take care of your health. That's what we have before we have anything else. If we don't have our health, we're not very useful. And especially if we are going to be parents, we need to be the ones that know how this works so that we can take care of our children and know how their health works and support them in it, and not need to rely on the medical system and not need to be told, well, you can or cannot heal this or that. Okay. Because you can. Okay. So, do not walk into the IVF process feeling like something's wrong with you, or something about you is broken, or that you're just not good at this. And that's what I did. Because like I said, I had no knowledge that there was like ways to heal everything and to do it naturally. I didn't know. I just didn't know what I didn't know, right? It's crazy. It's crazy to think about it now, but just don't walk into the process at any point in your journey thinking that it's your only option and that something's wrong with you. And so you have to do this thing. Like I said, there's women, and I've had friends go through IVF and they were like all about it. And they were like, oh yeah, I'm doing IVF. And they would get pregnant with, I have one friend who did it. She had one child and then she had twins. And it really, really, really is based on your perspective about it. So it's just like anything, right? Like if you're coming from the place of believing a lot in pharmaceuticals or the medical system or things like that, you're like, oh, okay, I'll just do IVF. Like it might be like, wow, cool. I'm so happy that this is available and there's people to help me. But if you are coming from the opposite side where you're like, I just want to know what's off. I want my body to be able to be completely healthy. If you're more into holistic thinking or you're interested in it, then the alternative of like having to do IVF feels hard, or it feels like something maybe you don't want to do. Okay. So if you can be in the place of like, I want to do IVF and it's going to help me have a family, then that's clear. Like that's a better place to be than to begrudgingly be like going into it like, oh, I just don't want to do this. Like if your gut is telling you no, then there's a reason again, right? Like perhaps you're being called to talk to your body and to understand it and to work with it and to learn some things about what potential it has. Okay. So the energy that you enter into IVF in is everything, right? Just like anything in life, it's how you feel when you're doing it. So for me, it was like I was energetically kicking and screaming, doing this thing that I didn't want to do because I had no awareness that there was another way. So there is always another way. You have to know that. And whatever you decide to do has to be the aligned next step. So that's my last point. And you can use your intuition, of course, and you can use your body and you can use your human design to know what is the next step for you. Okay. So I talk about human design in my Facebook group and I've done some videos on here, but look at your authority in your human design chart. And if you don't know how to do that, just let me know below and I can help you out. But like my authority is an emotional authority, which means like I need 24 to 48 hours to process it. That's a big decision, right? Should I do IVF or not? Or do I want to do IVF or not? And so you want to look at your authority in your human design, because if you're splenic, you're going to know instantaneously. It'll come in really fast, like yes or no. But then your mind might try to take over and be like, well, but we should do this or that. And if it's your sacral, then it'll just be like a gut, yes or no, like uh-huh or uh-uh. And I have defined spleen, defined sacral, and emotional. So I had to go through all three. I had no idea about this, but I can tell you for sure that if I would have waited 1 day or 2 days or 1 week, because it's a long process, my answer still would have been like, this isn't right. Something isn't correct about this. But of course, I learned so much going through it. But listen to your body, not your mind, because your mind will tell you the things like you're getting old, the doctor might be the only hope, like they said this is wrong with me. And you guys, I have to help you to understand this. No one can know what you know. Nobody can know what you know in your heart. Nobody can know what your body's telling you. Nobody can know what your soul is telling you. Only you. And if you want to do this naturally, or if you at least want to understand how to get your body healthiest and ready, which is your job, then listen to it, okay? Listen to it. It makes zero sense to just walk straight into this highly intensive medical process that can go on and on and on, that will pull, if you don't know what's going to happen, your body, it's hard on the body to do this, okay? Because it's artificial. It isn't natural. So plus there's many, many emotions that happen when you're going through a process that's like, am I going to have a baby or not? Am I going to be able to have a family or not? Like all this is riding on it, plus the financial investment. There's a lot of stuff. I know. It's just so much. It can be hard. And so it makes no sense to go into all of that if you haven't even thought of, what does my body need from me? What's going on? Because there's always stuff to work on and to do and to help your body heal if you're not getting pregnant easily. Okay, that's just the way that it is, because our bodies are made for this. We're built to produce, to create. And unless you don't have a uterus or something like you've had a hysterectomy, then you can do it, especially if you have the desire to do it. Believe me, I didn't even really have this huge desire to do it. I just like wanted to be able to have a baby and not do it that way. And it happened for me, right? So you've got to know yourself. You've got to know how health works, and you've got to know what the body is asking for when fertility is off, okay? So the big parts of it, and I'll go into this on another video. So make sure you're following and you subscribe to my channel, because I'm going to do daily videos about this topic for the next week and a half, I believe. So, and if you have questions about anything related to fertility or having a baby, please put it in the comments below and I can read and respond. So when you are healthy, fertility is a natural byproduct, but specifically your thyroid, your adrenals, your liver, and the core of it all, your gut, you've got to free up energy so that the body can be in flow. If you think about it, like producing a child it's like creating fruit from a tree, right? And so in order for that to happen, you have to plant the seed in healthy soil. And that means that the more access to nutrients that your body has, the more that your body has been flowing in alignment and doing what it knows how to do naturally before the baby comes in, the easier your pregnancy will be. And the easier time you'll have, and you won't be so drained from like the baby taking the nutrients from you. So it's really, really important. That's what I want to stress for you. So let me know if you guys have any questions or comments. You can put them below. Like I said, hit the bell to subscribe so you know when I go live or if I upload a new video. And if you're interested in working with me to help you get baby body ready, then you can check out the link that I have below to my website. And I have a 6-week one-to-one coaching program called Baby Body Ready, where we go through every single thing that's going on with your physical self. And we work to put you on the right kind of food program and diet to let the body just kick in and do what it needs to do to allow these parts and systems to heal themselves, because they will. They did. It happened for me. And it was like the most simple thing, where I had started out looking at IVF and all of these treatments and procedures as so complicated. Our job isn't complicated. Our job is to know what our body is asking from us and to give it to it. So it's time to like make this very clear and simple so that we can have healthy moms having healthy babies and not going through a lot of stress to get there. Okay. So anyways, check out my program. It's called Baby Body Ready. You can send me a message or check it out on my website, and I'll be back soon. Have a great night, you guys.